Good evening. Welcome to the S&P E-mini Weekly Outlook, brought to you by Trade Stalkers and Ninja Pro Traders. This is Frank, so let's get started tonight right away. It's the 8th of May. It's about 6:30 Central Standard Time. We'll start with just a quick review of what we looked at last week for as far as targets to go. We were looking at entry, a short entry or a long entry possibly coming off the 2063. This was actually labeled wrong last week. We were looking for a close above, a retest up here somewhere about this intermediate target. Actually, we are looking for and a retest down to go long with the 2060 or move down, move back up, and wait for it to come back down to get a short entry. And we actually got both as it crossed back up on the second, which was last Monday. It pulled right up into here. We got stopped out as it came back through here, so we're about 625 on one contract, and then it came down here reset, which met our goal to enter into a short entry at 2060.25. And as it pulled down through here, it kind of ticked back up into here. We got that entry, and we pulled down in here. We hit target one, and we're stopped out right here as it came back up through for about 987. Now, some of the guys waited, saw this bounce back here, got back in right over here, and it took a short again and managed to take all the way down to target here. But that was just a couple guys. But very, very good move on their part. So let's clear this out, and we'll talk about this week's trades real quick. Support and resistance is going to be about the same as it was last week. So I'm going to leave these lines in place, and we'll start on a daily time frame. Make sure we're all on the same sheet of music here. So using the market profile total from Ninja Pro Traders, we're going to look at this move. We started last week here about the 12th of April on a daily chart. We come up here with a high at 2105.75, and the market worked its way back down. Essentially, this 2032.53 became our support as it bounced back off on Friday. Um, Actually, Thursday, I guess, was the 6th, right? Friday was the 6th. And then pulled right up into here, and we've opened up this evening and started moving upward again. So we got a couple things to look at. We have our support here at 2033, and we'll draw this little zone right in here so we know where that's going to be. So what we want to look for is moves to the upside and moves to the downside for this week and where we might take some profits. So let's move over to actually before that, let's just take a look at where we are on the fibs tonight a little bit more. Let's assume this is the move here. We're coming down into here right at the low of 2033 and this one. And as you can see, we're right back up here. This is right about the 2060 area, which is going to be a 38.2 retracement on the fibs. So very, very high probability that we're going to hit this and do some retracement. Maybe pull back to about the 2050 before possibly going long. And you can see right here our confluence of the 2068 is the 50% retracement. And then right around the 2078 area, 2077, you see the 61.8 retracement. I only look at the three. Those are the three major ones for me. So all the way up to this 2079, which is one of our long entries. So we'll look at this move on a smaller time frame, gives our actual entries and targets for this week. Let's minimize this and here. All right. So as you can see, this is the start of the week. We're moving up here right here this evening, and we pull back and we know these time frames at 2060 and then here at 2079. And we got the 20 right here in this area is our pullback for the 50%. So where we might look at, and you can see these, I drew in a little dash line here just earlier. We're going to have to consider this little bit of time frame. It wasn't here last week as a possible resistance area, and if it breaks through for a support area. So we're going to watch that closely this week. So as we climb up here today, we're going to look for a possible move up into this 2074. I don't think we'll get to 2079 on the first move. So we're going to look anywhere between the 68, 74, kind of a big area in here for a first move up into here. We want to come back down and retest this 60 area. Now on the retest, this is a good place for a long entry right here, right here. Let's see if I can move this down and move it over. There we go. Long entry at 2062, maybe just a little bit right in that area because we see we have this right in this previous structure right here, 63, although very, very small, just a tick move up. But we'll watch that area. So we'll wait till it clears, touches back down here at the 2060 area, and then moves back up for a long at 2062. All right. So it's going to move our target one down into here, right around here. Target two for this week would be just below this VPOC, and our target three right here at 2102 for this week. So be cautious on these trades as it moves up. Volatility could still be in place. So let's take a look at the downside move. We're going to leave this right in place. If we could get a retest at the 60, great place to go long. Or excuse me, great place to go short. Look for the move down here to target 1, right back in here at the 2046. However, keep a short or small trail stop on this. We could only get a pullback into this area right down into here somewhere, maybe 51, 50, somewhere in this area at the bottom of this candle for a pullback before we go to the long scenario. But however, if we do get down here, take your profit at target 1 and just be real cautious with this. We'll get a pullback up in here. It may come all the way back up and retest 60 for the second time like it did last week. And if it does, we will look for a second entry this week with, again, possible targets on the 23 and 2017. Now, to further talk about this scenario, if we can get down in here, depending on what the news is the first couple of days this week, we may not get the bounce back. It may just drive all the way through down to the 2032 area. So we want to be real cautious with that, okay? Be real cautious. So as you're coming through the 2040 area, 2046 down to 24, take, feel free to take off a couple contracts or whatever you're trading and trail stop real tight down to this 46 area. Only give you a couple points above this, and hopefully you get your move all the way to 32 for a actual target 1 or target 2. So that's about it for this week. If you have any questions, contact Frank at tradestalkers.com and have a great day.